Hey folks, Craig Danger, vinyl record player. Ho! Here to talk about 5 underrated LPs from 1966. These are underrated, you're not going to be seeing any Beatles or Stones or anything like that. But wow, there'll be some classics. And yeah, you want to stick around to the end for, really a gem in my opinion. And in the meantime, obviously, you'll want to stay safe when you're around the danger. And buckle up. And we're back. So thought I'd do the underrated albums. Was doing the debuts for a bit there. Man, a lot of visitors, a lot of new subscribers. So I figured I'd head to the collection and see what do we got from 1966. These are, of course, offbeat picks, underrated picks in my opinion. But you want to talk about classics? I think we start off with my most recent and largest classic of the bunch. I'm talking about Lou Rawls' Solen from 1966. Now, 1966 was a fairly busy year for Lou. I think there's possibly 3 albums by Lou that year, each and every one produced by David Axelrod. Again, if you're looking for just a fantastic producer, mainly of soul music, but like I say, with a real swing sort of element, David Axelrod is your man. In my opinion, we are peaking in terms of maximum Rawls Axelrod action with Solen. This album obviously features, I think one of the best songs of all time in Love is a Hurtin' Thing. Also went to number 13 on the Billboard charts. I think it was probably about number 1 soul. But again, all over this album, just fantastic stuff. It was a very good year. A Whole Lot of Woman, Don't Explain. This is actually a cover-to-cover classic, I have to say. And here's the thing. I love Lou Axelrod, that 60s Lou Rawls stuff, but in my opinion, this is by far their best record. There's no skips on this one. Just, in my opinion, pure genius. Fantastic singing by Lou all over it. And again, with Axelrod, you do get kind of a swinging sort of vibe. So it's just really happy, and not really funky, but just sort of bright and poppy in that kind of I would almost even say like in a Nelson Riddle sort of style. But wow, fantastic stuff on Solen. Lou Rawls, in my opinion, again, I'm going to say it again, I think it was his best album of the 60s with David Axelrod. What are you going to get this for? You can probably get this for about under $10, pretty much anywhere. You might even be able to get it for under $5. I think I got mine for like $7 or $8. A lot of people bought Lou Rawls albums, and then a lot of people who owned them may have died, because let me tell you, a lot of Lou Rawls albums, you can pick up all of his, you can probably pick up all of his 60s albums for, I don't know, maybe a couple 20s. That's about 8 or 10 albums, but Lou doesn't have the cachet as some of the other singers of that time have. But again, Solen, that's the evidence. You got to know Lou Rawls. And I just wanted to mention thank you to everybody for liking, and particularly for subscribing, but liking helps quite a bit to get the videos out there. A lot of my recent videos, I've been getting like over 1,000 views. I'm like, I'm a star. Oh, obviously not. I mean, that's ridiculous. But again, I just want to thank everybody who likes and subscribes to my videos. I really appreciate you, and thanks for tuning in to Craig Danger. A little bit of a debut. I don't even know what to say. We're talking about Canadian legend Gordon Lightfoot with 1966's Lightfoot. Now, I remember first hearing this and thinking to myself, wow, just what a bunch of folk classics all over this LP. Then, maybe a couple days later, I found out, you know what? Gord wrote all those folk classics. Yeah. And in fact, of the 14 tracks on this LP, 11 are written by Gord. And this album was originally recorded in '64, wasn't released until '66 on the United Artists label. But wow, I think in terms of Gordon Lightfoot sets, this one is possibly his best. I'm not saying that the 1970s stuff for Gord wasn't fantastic, and certainly put out some good albums in that era. But cover to cover, this one, you can't lose on this one. And even the covers, like The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, another just genius work. Or Phil Oakes' Changes. Get out of here, Gord. Get out of here is what I'm saying to Gord. At any rate, if you can find this one's not that complicated to find. I've seen it in the bins. My sense is you're going to get it under 10 all day. Often not very heavily played. No idea why. This is a fantastic record. And yeah, from 1966, the debut LP from Gordon Lightfoot. This, of course, is Lightfoot. Well, we'll talk about another debut here. How about Wade in the Water, Ramsey Lewis? Matter of fact, this one actually, with Hold It right there, little Ramsey Lewis on his debut LP, what is it? He wins a Grammy. He wins a Grammy right out of the gate. Hey, Ramsey, take a Grammy. Brother, here you go. Here you go, they said. Anyway, what can I say about this album? It's classic Ramsey Lewis. Very sort of jazz takes on a lot of the stuff. Basically a lot of covers. You got Tobacco Road, Money in the Pocket, Message to Michael, Ain't That Peculiar. A lot of sort of jazzy, sort of light, loungy sort of covers. And here's the thing. You can't really go wrong with a Ramsey Lewis album in terms of you can put it on at a party. People will be like, oh, it's cool. It's great for background music. It's good. It's kind of jazzy, so you can just kind of lay it on. No one's getting offended. No one's getting offended. And frankly, it's really hard to go wrong. He's playing all popular songs. And I can tell you that you can probably pick up this album for under $5 all day and all night. If you're paying more than 10, I don't know what you're doing. Put that $10 away. Put it away. Because this album is just available times a million. You'll actually find that, if you do much searching, you obviously know that Ramsey Lewis is in the bins all day, all night. The $2 bins, the $1 bins. This is, it's emblematic of his work. Just happens to be his debut. This one actually even charted for him. And won him a Grammy. Way to go, Ramsey. Again, Ramsey Lewis, always kind of a nice light touch. It's not going to change your world, but it's got that kind of like late 60s sort of loungy, sort of almost Bacharach-esque kind of vibe. And you can't go wrong with this. Wade in the Water from 1966. That's the debut LP from Ramsey Lewis. A lot of debuts. I mean, what am I going to say? How about Tim Buckley, the self-titled, also from 1966. You know what? I would call this an underrated album in general. I actually did put it up as one of my most underrated LPs of the 1960s, debut LPs rather, and I still believe it to be the case. There are no real outright bangers on this one. This is the sound of a songwriter forming his chops, beginning to kind of understand the sort of limits and the structure of songwriting. And certainly, dude's 19 here. This is, of course, on the Elektra label. He would go on to release 3 or 4 more albums throughout the 60s. But this one kind of surprised me. Very cool sort of Sunday record. Very good for kind of chilling out. And ain't gonna offend anybody either. Again, you can see the seeds being planted for Tim Buckley. And from here, obviously, the albums would get better and better. But Tim Buckley, that one's in stereo, friends. From 1966, an underrated album, also his debut. And I don't know how super underrated this is, but thanks for sticking around. Hey, I'm just going to say, if you're still here, like and subscribe. I mean, like helps. Subscribe, you get to see more of the Danger. I mean, who doesn't like Craig Danger? Anybody who's still here? You might. Anyway, I know, it's totally not underrated. But I went with it. Unfortunately, I was looking for another classic from that era, Sam and Dave's Double Dynamite, which I own. Could not find it. Don't know where it is. So I decided to just go with Wild as the Wind from Nina Simone. This, of course, is more like a hodgepodge album, mostly recorded in 64 and 65. Phillips puts it out, and wow, this is a piece of magic. Particularly, I would note, of course, For Women was a single and really popular rendition of it, but in my opinion, the legendary gem. I think Nina's best song ever, and that, of course, is Wild is the Wind. About 7 minutes and 15 seconds of just, pure unadulterated beauty. If you get a chance after this, please find this song, Wild is the Wind. Just take a moment, put on the headphones. Ooh, it is just a magic song. But you know what? The rest of this album is really good as well. I do not have a lot of Nina Simone albums. They are obviously hard to find because she didn't sell a lot in the first place. And secondarily, there are a lot of represses, but you're going to be spending $40. And if you know Craig Danger, you know he likes to keep it under 10 if he can. But I had to buy this one special because, in my opinion, again, it's her best. And Wild as the Wind. Ooh, I still could listen to that for days. It's just so legendary. What can I say? So yeah, that was basically 5 underrated LPs. It turned out there was a lot of debuts there, friends. But you know what? I mean, such is the roll of the dice at times. So again, like, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, and obviously thank you always for supporting the channel. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to see you on the next one.